Selamun aleyküm. Euzubillahimineşşeytanirracim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ve salatu ve selamu ala Resulina Muhammedin seyyidil evvelin ve ahirin. Medede ya Resulü, medede ya Sadat, ashabı Resulü, medede ya meşayihina. Destur, maşallah fazla sayyid Muhammed'e kâli. Medede. Tarikatullah sahba ve hayru fil camiye. الذين يحمد بما لم يفعله صدق الله العظيم. Allah Azze ve Celle insan tabiatını Kur'an-ı Azimüşşan'da her şeyi yazmış.
Allah Almighty mentions in the Holy Quran that everything has been described in the Holy Quran, and the nature and the characteristics of the human being have also been described.
İnsanın tabiatını da yazmış.
And Allah Almighty thus has described and revealed the nature of the human being in the Holy Quran.
Çoğu insan yapmadıkları şey için teşekkür ister.
And there is a characteristic of the human being that there are some humans who expect to receive praise and to be thanked for things which they themselves actually have not done.
Bizim halbuki hiç alakası olmayan bir şey yapmış olur. Kendi yapmış gibi ona şükretmelerini ister, teşekkür etmelerini ister.
There are people who expect to be thanked for and to receive praise for things which are beyond what they did and have nothing to do with them, yet they expect this work to be attributed to them.
Bu kötü bir tabiattır.
And this is a bad characteristic in the nature of the human being.
Nefsin kötü tabiatıdır.
And it's a characteristic that belongs to the ego.
Yapsa bile gene yapan insan Allah'tan korkan, bu Allah'ın bir nimetidir diye.
And even if it were you who actually did it, then if you were fearful of Allah Almighty, then you would not claim it for yourself, but you would say that this has been a divine favor and a divine grant by Allah Almighty who made me to do this.
Bizim bir şeyimiz yok. Bu şeyde Allah'ın bize fazla keremiyle bize nasip etti diyebilir.
A person who is aware of Allah Almighty would never claim anything for himself, but would consider even those things he does as a divine favor and a divine gift by Allah Almighty, and whenever he does something, he will say, this was a gift by Allah Almighty.
Ama onu da yapmayanlar bir şey yaptılar mı zaten her tarafı velveleye verir. Ben yaptım, ben ettim, şu yaptım, bu yaptım diye. O güzel bir huy değil.
It is not a good characteristic that if you do something to promote yourself, to market yourself, and to make the entire world known how great you are and what you did. And it's even worse if you claim things for yourself which you not even have done.
Yani hiç yapmadan bir iyilik yapmışım gibisinden kalkıp da söylemesi hiç hoş değil.
It is not nice to actually do without doing something, to go outside and tell others and claim this good deed for oneself.
Allah Azze ve Celle'nin sevmediği bir durumdur.
This is a situation, a characteristic which Allah Almighty does not like.
İnsanın kendine iyilik değil, kendine kötülük yapar. Ben yapamadım dese,
to claim things for oneself is not to your benefit, but claiming things for yourself while you have not done them will harm you.
Niyeti yapmak için olabilir yani.
And it would have been better, even if you didn't do it, to make the intention to do it. Then Allah Almighty will have accepted your intention to do it, even if you did not succeed in doing it.
Ona ecir alır ama yapmadan.
And Allah Almighty will reward you for that intention.
Başkasının yaptığı menfaat için deyip de bunu söyleyen Allah'ın sevmediği bir tabiata bir şey yapmış olur.
But there's no goodness, no reward in claiming things for oneself which one hasn't done. It is a characteristic which Allah Almighty dislikes.
Allah Azze ve Celle'nin sevmediği şey de fayda vermez.
And if you do something that Allah Almighty dislikes, that very thing will give you no benefit.
İnsanlar zaten hiç sevmez.
And people will also know, and they will not like you either.
Onun yaptığından hayır gelmez. Zaten yapmamış olduğu için.
And people will know that it was not you who didn't do it, and they will not like you.
Hem yalandan dolayı hem insanları aldatmasından dolayı Allah ona gadap eder.
Allah Almighty will be angry with you because you lied to people, and moreover you cheated people by claiming things for yourself which you haven't done.
Gazabı Allah Azze ve Celle'nin sevmediği şey.
And to claim things for oneself which you haven't done, and to lie to people and to cheat them thereby, will be the reason for Allah Almighty's manifestation of His anger against you.
Ama Allah Azze ve Celle merhamet sonsuzdur.
However, the mercy of Allah Almighty is endless.
Yapılan her şeyi Allah Azze ve Celle affeder.
And whatever you may have committed, Allah Almighty will forgive you.
Tevbe istiğfar eden insan,
if you ask Allah Almighty for forgiveness.
Bu kurtulur.
Those who ask Allah Almighty for forgiveness and repent will be saved.
Nefes daha insanda nefes varken yaptığı hatalardan, günahlardan,
as long as you can still breathe, you still have the chance to repent and ask Allah Almighty for forgiveness.
Allah Azze ve Celle'den af dilerse,
and if you then ask Allah Almighty for forgiveness,
tövbe ederse,
if you repent,
onlar gider.
Then those wrongdoings will be forgiven.
Yok, bu kötü tabiatı, kötü huyu bir marifet zanıp da.
However, if you insist on that bad characteristic, on that bad quality of claiming things for yourself,
devam ederse,
and if you insist on that way,
o vakit kendi cezasını çeker.
Then you must know that you will be held accountable and you will be punished accordingly.
Allah muhafaza etsin.
May Allah Almighty protect us.
Nefsimizin şerrinden.
May Allah Almighty protect us from the evil of our ego.
Çünkü nefes böyle pohpohlamayı, yani hiçbir şey kazanmasa bile,
the ego loves to be praised. The ego loves flattery.
Pohpohlamayı sever.
And the ego even loves to be praised for things which it hasn't done.
Millet ona ne kadar iyilik yapan adam falan gibisinden yahut.
The ego loves to hear how great it is, what good it has done, and it loves to be praised.
Bakarsa nefsi kabarsın ister.
And the ego wants this praise and this flattery to increase in its size.
Halbuki yapılan şeyler gizli olsa, yapılan hakikaten olsa bile onların ecri daha büyüktür.
However, Allah Almighty's reward for those things, for those good things which are kept secret, is much greater.
Allah nefsimizden muhafaza etsin, nefsimiz.
May Allah Almighty protect us from our egos.
Şerrinden muhafaza etsin.
May Allah Almighty protect us from the evil of our egos.
Bu kötü huylardan bizi kurtarsın inşallah.
And may Allah Almighty save us from these bad characteristics.
Allahümme minallah tevfik. El-Fatiha.